Tell me what's the difference between you and me? We're one and the same, the way we're meant to be.
So the hair that I got came packaged like so. Came with perm rods, bundle of 24 inches, 2 bundles, 26 inches, and a 20-inch lace frontal. I thought this was really cool that they decided to give me perm rods just in case I wanted to keep it curly. And it's just your regular, schmegular Aliexpress packaging. So some of the things we'll be needing is a dome cap. This is what you will be sewing the hair onto. Some bonding glue, weaving thread, weaving needle, some scissors, it can be any kind of scissors, and a blockhead. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the dome cap on, and then I'm going to pin my lace front on to the blockhead. I made sure that I pulled it a little further than the dome cap starts, and you'll see why at the end. This is how it looks. Now let's go ahead and start sewing it on. So I'm starting from the base of the frontal, and first I am pulling the thread through, then tying it 2 times to secure it. Once I've done that, I'm just gonna basically sew it on and make sure that it's secure onto the dome cap. And as I'm sewing it on, I'm actually kind of creating a knot. So I'm pulling it through, and then I am pulling the excess string on the other side through the hoop, and it knots like so. Then I'm just gonna sew it all the way across until I have reached the other end. So now that we've got the frontal on and secure, I'm gonna go ahead and sew on the hair. I'm using 3 bundles that I was sent from Bele Version Hair on Aliexpress, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut open the first bundle. I'm going to start off using the 26-inch bundles, then working my way up to using the 24. Before I do that, I'm going to start off by measuring the bundles and cutting it so that I can sew it on track by track. I'm doing this because it allows it to lay flatter, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin it once I've gotten the exact measurements. I want to make sure that it reaches each side of the frontal. And before I sew it on, I'm going to make sure that I bond it with some weave glue. I'm going to make sure that it dries, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it on. I'm going to do the exact same method that I did sewing on the frontal, which is bringing the thread through and then tying it 2 times. Once I've tied it, I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it on like so. I think here you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about when I say I create a knot as I'm sewing it on. I'm pulling the string through the loop and then pulling it extremely tight to just kind of knot it a little bit. And repeat the same step with each track. Once I get to the end of the track, I'm going to go ahead and tie it about 3 times, which is basically looping around the loop 3 times. And then I'm going to go ahead with the next step. I've already started gluing it, and I'm gluing the other half. By gluing half and half, it makes it a lot easier. That way you don't get any glue in the hair. And then I'm going to continue using the same string, well, weaving string that I used for the last track, and then just sewing it all the way across. And this is going to be the last track that I actually used the glue for. I only used it at the base because it's a thicker part of the dome cap, but as we go on, don't use any more glue.
skin is bare. Take me like you always do. Do whatever that you want me to. Take me like you always do. That you want me, that you want me, that you want me.
So I went ahead and sewed a few extra tracks off camera, but as you see, there is an extra piece that is left. I'm basically going to show you how to take care of that. What I'm doing is puncturing the weft and sewing that onto the dome cap. This basically allows no budging and it makes it lay flat. And then once I've done that and I've gotten all the way to the end, I am going to continue to puncture the weft and then loop it about 2 or 3 times. This basically makes sure that it continues to lay flat. And then with the extra weaving thread, I am adding yet again another track. And I'm just gonna keep doing, the same steps that I've been doing throughout the video. So this is basically what using one bundle pretty much looks like. I kept the wefts pretty close. I could have spaced it out a little bit, but I just decided to keep it close towards the bottom. Now I'm going to go ahead and add another one. I'm going to kind of speed through this, and there is going to be some clips missing of me using this particular bundle. But just follow the exact same steps that I've been doing throughout the whole video, and you will be able to create your own wig.
Oh, you're making me so high I could cry. I can't even lie. You know you can't hide from feeling so damn right. I'll make you feel so right. I'll make you feel so right.
So I've used the second bundle, and I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the third. I'm basically this time going straight across opposed to kind of creating a C like I was doing before. And now I am measuring it once again, and then I'm going to cut it and start sewing it on.
Breathing all the air, my skin is bare. Take me like you always do. I'll do whatever that you want me to. Take me like you always do. Breathing all the air, where my skin is bare. Take me like you always do. Do whatever that you want me to. Take me like you always do.
Alright, so I am at my last track, and now that I'm at the end, I'm going to go ahead and tie it, which is looping it, and now I've completed it. Now what I'm doing is cutting off the excess part of the dome cap, which we won't be needing because the frontal has basically replaced it. Cutting off the excess parts that I was not able to get before. And then once I've completed that, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra lace that comes on the frontal. For some reason, when I got this frontal, there was a weird plastic string that kind of separated the frontal from the excess lace, and as you can see, it's kind of poking out, but I'm just following that line and cutting it off as I'm going. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the elastic band, which is basically going to keep the wig in place. I got this from Michael's, but you can get it from any craft store. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is measure it from one end of the frontal to the other. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. And once I folded it in half, I'm going to cut that piece and then cut that piece in half. Reason being is because you want it to secure your wig, so you want it to be able to stretch. And then once I've cut it in half, then you will have not only one piece for a wig, but another piece for the next wig you decide to create. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it right where the frontal starts, and then I'm going to put a T-pin in to hold it. I'm sewing this on, I'm hand sewing it on, so I'm just showing you exactly where I'll be sewing, which is across. First, I'm going to start at one end and pull it through. Then once I've pulled it through, I'm going to go ahead and tie it 3 times just to make sure that it's secure. Once I've done that, I'm going to use that same string, don't cut it off, keep it, and then sew it on as if you were sewing on the tracks onto the dome cap. Then I'm going to tie that 3 times, then cut it. Now I'm going on to the other side to do the exact same steps to secure that side. Now for the middle, I am following the same steps that I used on both sides, but this time I am sewing it on 4 times opposed to just 1.
Take me like you always do. I'll do whatever that you want me to. Take me like you always do. Breathing all the air with my skin is bare.
Once I've completed it, I'm going to tie it 3 times, cut it, and that is how it looks. Then I will repeat the same steps on the other side. And as you see, this is the result. I get a lot of questions about this, so I decided to finally do it and show you guys. And that pretty much wraps up how I personally make my frontal lace wigs. I know I enjoyed making this for you guys, but I'm hoping that it was extremely helpful. If you are interested in this hair, go ahead and check out in the description box all the information you need on it. Alright you guys, it's Flying Unicorn and I'm signing out. Peace.